everyone, it's Daz, and this week's discussion is on ravens and crows and some experiences that I had with them a couple of weeks ago when I was in Los Angeles working. And today is my 28th birthday, so I'm excited to talk to you. There won't be a live stream tomorrow night because I'm out of town on vacation, and this was recorded in advance, but I hope that you guys enjoy our discussion, and we'll discuss it more after a message from our sponsor. Friends, the entire world is experiencing food shortages. Supply chain breakdowns continue to have a domino effect on everything, especially food production. Farmers can't plant as many crops now because of fertilizer shortages, forest regulations, and high fuel prices. This will cause more painful food shortages when we run out of food we're eating now. Food takes time to grow, so when farmers don't plant, months later we don't eat. That's why you need to prepare for an increasing number of food shortages, and the best way is to invest in ready our emergency food from My Patriot Supply. It's a perfect hedge against skyrocketing prices and shortages. Right now, save $50 on a 4-week food kit from My Patriot Supply. Go to preparewithdaz.com and get your $50 savings on 4-week emergency food kit that average over 2,000 calories per day. That's preparewithdaz.com. Those who know what's coming are getting prepared now. Shouldn't you? preparewithdaz.com. So there won't be a live stream tomorrow night, just putting it out there. I'm actually on vacation, so this is an advance recording. As you listen to it, it is September 28th, which is my 28th birthday, so I wanted to reminisce on something I kept encountering when I was in California, which was ravens. Everywhere I went in LA County, I would see either crows or ravens. They would land on the pole beside me if I was driving or if I was walking. Even when I went to Catalina Island, they were there. There was a whole bunch of them in the rain. And one of the most startling experiences I had was when I was at the zoo and I was going to buy a churro, and before I even talked to the vendor, I heard this loud noise, and I looked, and this raven had landed beside where I was standing, and it didn't make any noise at that point. But after I got my churro, I decided to film it because I had made another video talking about how they were everywhere I go, and as soon as I pulled out my camera to film it, it flew straight at me. I thought it was gonna fly at my face, so I put my phone down, and then it landed on the bench beside me, not directly on the sitting part, but on the back of the bench. And then these families were coming by with their little kids, and look at that big bird. And they tried talking to the bird, and the next thing you know, the raven was making noise, but it sounded more like it was coughing than anything else. And after the people left, it turned to me, and I stared at it, and I felt like it wanted to say something to me. So I'm going to get into this article, and I'll share it in the description box below, what ravens mean in a spiritual sense. Some instances in the Bible: the raven brought Elijah bread each morning and evening, and he drank from the brook. In Leviticus 11:13, Israelites were instructed not to eat certain birds that were considered detestable, and ravens were one of them, most likely because they're birds of prey or because they eat carrion. The same command not to eat the meat of detestable birds is repeated in Deuteronomy 14:14. According to Job 38:40-1, God feeds the ravens and their young. This belief is shared among Hindus, and echoing the sentiment of Psalm 147:9, God gives the young ravens food when they call. In Luke 12:24 and Psalms 137, after they offer a common adage that considers ravens, they do not sow or reap, they have no storeroom or barn, God feeds them, and how much more valuable are you than birds? In the Song of Solomon, it describes the man's hair as black as ravens. Psalms 30 verse 17 says, "The eye of those that mock their father will be pecked out by ravens in the valley." This passage has later been translated or adapted to include vultures and hawks. In talking about desert and its distinct desolation, Isaiah 34:11 describes the owl and raven as nesting there, attempting to portray a place there where once was life and now there's only death. The passage has later been translated to include storks, pelicans, somehow hedgehogs, and porcupines, but the raven part has stayed consistent. And the first bird that Noah sent out from the ark was a raven. And it kept flying back and forth until the water dried up from the earth. And then later, he sent out a dove. So those are just a few examples in the Bible of ravens. Some people have like a more darker idea of what ravens are because of the idea that they're birds of prey. Some people see it as an omen or even as a shapeshifter of some kind or as signs of spirits following you. When I had these experiences, I did feel like I was spiritually seeking God more than ever, and I felt like I was being spoken to. But I'd like to know what your thoughts are on ravens, and do you see them as good birds, bad birds, neutral? Do you think it's reading too much into it? And we'll talk about it in our next live chat in October. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care and God bless.